have a CI to bring you in this neighborhood, you're not going to be able to do nothing.
Chicago's Gangster 2-6 Nation, a notorious bunch running drugs in Little Village, has taken a hit by federal and city authorities. More than 20 of the gangbangers are now behind bars on charges of selling marijuana and cocaine. CBS 2's Vince Girasole is here now with more on why this thing is called Operation Shady Business, which is like being in a movie.
Little Village represents more than just battle lines within the Hispanic community. For decades, it's been a beacon of opportunity. Generations of immigrants, both legal and illegal, have come to work in family-owned businesses here, many of them along 26th Street.
26th Street is the second most revenue street in the city of Chicago, right behind Michigan Avenue, believe it or not. It's all small businesses, but they definitely bring a lot of revenue into the city. Living in this area for as long as I did, the people are some of the greatest, and this is the hard-working older people.
They came to this country, you know, make a better life. I mean, if you see in the news, life in Mexico ain't all, you know, a cup of tea over there.
This right here is a hub for huge, massive quantities of drugs.
You're talking about semi-load where they can put in maybe 75 kilos, 100 kilos.
You have a lot of illegal immigrants coming here who are hungry, so they go to any extreme, you know.
The inner workings of a Chicago street gang, court filings, witness testimony, and undercover FBI recordings show the gang was being run like a business with a CEO, a constitution, and its own justice system.
ABC 7's Ben Bradley here with the tales, Ben.
Ron Sherrill, this is actually a copy of the Latin King Constitution. It's required reading for thousands of gang members in the city. The document came to light in the case of a man who federal prosecutors say was the supreme Inca of the Latin Kings, essentially the gang's CEO. In Chicago's Little Village neighborhood, Latin Kings control many corners. Federal prosecutors say this man, Fernando King, was the gang's leader. Prosecutors say in the decade before this raid, as many as 10,000 gang members reported to King. A few turned government informant, and with the FBI's help, recorded him.
When you act crazy, you don't know how to drink, we're gonna beat you up.
On the recordings and in-court documents, King comes across as a ruthless CEO, struggling to keep control of his underlings. King pled guilty to racketeering charges. Prosecutors, though, think he ordered or knew about countless shootings and murders. On the tapes, King is heard complaining that not all of his soldiers are capable of killing to protect the gang's turf.
We got soldiers, educate them in some way, man. Find the killer out the crowd, man, so you don't send the next poor kid that don't know how to kill out in the stupid mission. That's why the mob was so successful, bro. The mob was real picky. If you were the little stupid geek out the crowd, oh yeah, you were handling the little stupid paperwork, man. But if you were the killer out the crowd, you were playing with face right there, right? Nowadays, you want everybody to be a killer.
The Latin King Constitution details what's expected of disciples, including a willingness to kill or be killed for the good of the gang. It lays out the gang hierarchy and its own system of justice. Members, for example, are not allowed to use heroin. The FBI recordings capture King worrying that bar brawls and drunkenness are ruining the effectiveness of his foot soldiers.
People look at Latin Kings as bad people, man. And we only respond to negativity. You approach us in a negative way, we respond in a negative way.
The kill or be killed mentality is so prevalent in the gang that they set up a funeral fund to pay the final expenses of slain Latin Kings. As for the alleged leader, Fernando King, prosecutors are asking a judge to sentence him to the maximum, 40 years in a federal lockup. They didn't get him on any murder charges. It's that racketeering case. We'll find out his sentence next month.
Chilling to hear. Nowadays, we want everybody to be a killer.
Right.
And world news anchor Diane Sawyer joins us with the latest in our ongoing ABC News series, Hidden America. This one from the streets of Chicago. Diane, the powerful report we're about to see really takes us inside what can only be described as a hidden American war zone.
One arrested 50 times. He's a member of the Hispanic gang 2-6. He's called Pac-Man. His friend is Puppet.
I enjoy fighting, I'm not going to lie.
It is true, but we want to say at the outset, as we know, Chicago is simply a great city filled with wonderful people. But as we're going to show you, there are some areas where small children really do live, as we said, in a kind of battle zone. So listen to this number. At least 419 people were killed this year across a dozen neighborhoods in Chicago, and that is more than all the U.S. troops killed in Afghanistan this year. The cause, rival gangs creating anarchy. And so Nightline and World News decided to try something different, something unprecedented. We gathered 38 members of rival gangs, past and present, from Hispanics to their black rivals, to talk about the slaughter and how to make it stop.
Tonight in America, tens of thousands of children are living in a war zone. Now they are caught up in a vortex of increasing violence.
It's never going to stop because it keeps growing like a disease. People ain't out here just shooting to shoot. If they shooting, they trying to kill you.
And kill you over something as petty as an insult, a text.
Revenge. People do something to one of your friends, you want to do something back. Revenge.
Everybody want to be, you know, famous, and everybody want to get their name out there and stuff.
And the biggest name out there is a 17-year-old rapper named Chief Keef, who's signed by a major record label, Interscope. But police say they arrested him for pulling a gun on an officer. His YouTube video has received 17 million hits. On it, he reminds people they better not talk to the cops.
What's up, though? But they do it all for soul. Say you wasn't making no noise. Y'all know I'm a grown boy. Your clip full of grown boys. God, y'all some robots. God, y'all some robots. We GBE dope boys. We got lots of dope boys.
I keep telling them to stop. They just don't want to stop. They not listening.
Murder is a number one enemy. La abolición es el peor enemigo. Denos algo que hacer y lo haremos. Denos una oportunidad y la tomaremos. Denos las herramientas para escapar de la violencia.
Take your gang conflict away from a 7-year-old. Who raised you?
The city is up against 100,000 gang members, young, angry, leaderless, some just 13 years old and carrying a gun. So we send out word we want to try something different. With the anti-violence group Ceasefire, we ask to hold a meeting.
Los jefes de negocio son conectados con alguien. Los gangas, personas políticos, la mafia, son con quién, trabajando con quién. Con los gangas, huh?
We'll have your guy go get the cards with them, bring them back,
Yeah, we know where it's at.
and meet Pat somewhere else.
We're trying to create a conspiracy and try to get as many players that are involved as possible. Well, he's going inside the laundromat now. He's going to go get it.
We don't need Diane to come up in here and say for us what we need to do as a people.